Tommy Robinson is back with another video update challenging the pro-Palestine narrative, the anti-Israel side, who've been going around talking nonsense and coming up with fake news about, well, fake historic news. So in this video, which I'm going to show you now, Tommy also mentions a couple of interesting points, which is obviously the reality of why the Islamic side hate the Jews, but also some useful idiots and liberals in the West, including some Jews in the West, who've always been betraying the Israeli side, the actual nation of Jewish people. Let's go to Tommy.
Done my run. Now I'm going to the gym. All right? And do you know, for all you morons who think this is to do with Israel and not to do with jihad, and that if Israel wasn't there, there'd be no Jew hatred, I've been going through and putting together the scripture, Islamic scripture, you know, what Muhammad calls for. And by the end of this week, I'm going to piece together a monologue so that every one of you fucking morons understand why they hate the Jews. Yeah? It's all there. And you see, you apologists within the Jewish community who have sold your own community down the river. Okay? You're feeding the crocodile hoping it's not going to fucking eat you. Well, here it is. Here it is, and it's hundreds of thousands ready to eat you. You played your part, yeah? You played your part by demonising the people who were trying to warn this country for the last 15 years of where we're going. I see Nigel Farage currently sitting there saying, oh, this country's in trouble. Well, it's in trouble, Nigel, because you decided to call us far-right racist tattooed thugs. Because we were trying our fucking hardest to warn this country of the problems of jihad and Islam. You lot, whether it be the mainstream Jewish organisations or their mainstream media, were selling out your own people through cowardice, through absolute cowardice. You need to be strong, brave and fearless in the face of Islam and jihad. You cannot appease it. Have you not fucking read history? Do you not understand there is no negotiating with this mindset? There's only one thing they understand. That's force and that's strength. And that's something all of you, mainstream politicians, mainstream journalists, every one of you cowards that have come down on us, that you come down against the English Defence League, that demonised and slandered us. That's something every one of you lack. Every one of you. So, by the weekend, you'll all understand where this Jew hatred comes from. It's from the Quran. It's from the Hadiths. It's from Muhammad.
Absolutely spot on in terms of the analysis of the situation. Again, that we also showed you 2 weeks ago when Tommy came out first, when he was walking on the beach somewhere, doing the first video reaction, saying all these liberals, all these leftists and some so-called anti-establishment people falling for the narrative of the mainstream that, you know, the Jews are evil, Israel's occupied Palestine that never actually existed in the first place and all that. He mentioned that. He said you need to wake up. And there has still been people who still haven't woken up. The same people who say, oh, yeah, no. We are the truth tellers. We can question. We've been questioning things. We question the establishment, they say. Then they've been falling for the same narrative. Not just the last few decades, not just since the 40s. No. The narrative that started back in the day with the establishment in Babylon and everybody else in the Roman Empire, everybody else in Vatican, everybody who tried to convert the Jews and say, you should not be the way you are. And they refused to surrender. And of course, then Muhammad came and said, well, I think we need one final solution. And that ideology continued. And even in the 1930s in Germany, they thought, well, let's just find a way to implement it. And even since then, what did they do? Yes, they created the establishment in Gaza and in the West Bank to continue what the Germans were doing in the 30s. And the so-called truth tellers in the West are falling for that narrative again.